Hey, Nick, go ahead, have a seat.
Thank you.
So, finally we get together, huh?
I don't know what brought us together.
Well, you did. You actually looked me up online. I was watching you on Facebook, I guess, and took along, but it's on make contact. But that was it.
I'm so glad that you were so receptive to the idea of opening up your story and letting me in all the good details.
I mean, I don't know how much of a story, but I mean, it's nice to find people that were interested for us back in the day because we didn't have any the kind of coverage that we have today.
So that's my whole point. I want to bring social media to you guys because it was denied to you guys, denied to me in a little bit, but I took that idea and I said, you know what, I'm going to bring social media to the 70s. So that's my reason. But even without this interest, when I got into motor racing and your name kept coming up, I was intrigued by, you know, who these guys, like, why is their name living so long after, you know, them? They've left the country, they made their mark, and every time I talk about grass track, your name, Kamil Hanif's name comes up. And I said to myself, you know what, one day I'm going to have to find these guys.
Yeah, those were there were good days, and like you said, we the most we might have got was a newspaper mention. That would be it. There was no photography, there was no cameras or pictures of it. But that was it. But the writers were top notch. I mean, Hanif and I had a lot of battles at Oval. And there was one trophy that you had to win 3 years in succession to keep. I eventually did the 3 years in succession, but the last race with Hanif was, I mean, it was down to the last lap before I won it. And it was a case of, hey, it's going to be do or die. Either we both go down or I win this thing. And then you got guys like Victor Beeries, who was a constant competitor. I mean, you know, even Clarkie. So there were a lot of good guys, but never got the recognition. You know, that you guys have, or the new generation have. Plus the bikes we had back then, you know, you're taking a street bike, you're modifying it, you're doing stuff to the pistons, you know, stripping it down, but you didn't have the kind of handling and grip that you guys have today.
So who were some of the guys that you were most competitive with? Some of the names.
Well,
Just
like
off
I
the
said,
top of your head.
top of my head, Victor Beeries, I think, was the number one guy. Him and I were back and forth with it. You'd have guys that would be one or two races, you know, like David Vera. You know, he would be there a couple of times. You have Rennie Carrera and these guys. But the guy that was constantly there fighting all along were guys like Hanif and Victor Beeries. And Beeries and I kind of moved the circuit. I don't remember Hanif going too far off from over. I always remember fighting against him in the over. Not on many of the other tracks, whereas guys like Beeries, Clarkie, Vera, they're all over the coast. But like I said, my duration on grass track might have been 4 years. Because I started when I was about 16, and then I went to flight school when I was 20. And by the time I came back, I decided, well, the bikes, I didn't want to get hurt to the point where it affected my flying. So then I switched to cars.
Nice. So do you remember what year you made the change? What year you started racing cars? Or?
I would say 71, no, 72.
72.
Yeah.
And who were the guys that you were competing with at that point?
Well, first I started racing my own car.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Group 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be guys like even Joe Vera. He was a notch above. He was like Group 2 or Group 3. Although Joe was excellent. I mean, the guy could drive. But then you had, I just told you about
Ray Rahaman
and Jad and these guys.
Yeah.
They were big competition then in Group 1. So, David Cameron, you know, all those are Group 1 guys, and we had a good, and then you had guys like Alec Phillips, who's the director of civil aviation. You had my brother Roland, you know, but they were not very competitive compared to what we had back then, because, you know, I would say we had a little better cars than they did for the truck. That was it, and then eventually I got tied up with Neil Chan, so, and he came to me after, he had sponsored me, I think, in Group 1. And then he came to me at it was a presentation after one race meeting, and he turned to me and he says, "You want to drive a Ford BDA, Broad Street?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "Okay, I'm going to buy one." And I thought he was kidding. Now he sure as hell, he had Alec Poole, who was here racing from England. He was the guy that had the car built. And then he built the car when Neil Chan shipped it to Guyana, and that's where it started, in the BDA.
Nice, nice. So, like I said, you know, I keep telling you, it's really a pleasure for me to be able to sit with you and talk to you and get all this information. Like, it's a dream come true. Like, how do you pursue someone, you know, after 50 years and, you know, get a hold of them and build that rapport in order to, you know, sit down with you? It's really a pleasure, you know.
I appreciate
to do
it.
that.
It's nice to, you know, recognition is always nice, but like I said, the competition was fierce back then. So I would say to win, you had to work hard. You know, the guys were all pretty good. I mean, I remember grass track riding with guys with their foot on your pedal. I mean, you're that tight. There's three guys leaning on each other, and you think, if I look at God, one guy don't go down because we're all going down, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. I enjoyed the grass track a lot. And I didn't want to give it up, but once I got flying, I didn't want to mess that up too. So.
Totally understand. Totally understand.
But cars was a different thing. Cars, I never had any worry.
Fear.
No.
Yeah. Nice. And you felt pretty safe, surrounded by four wheels.
Never felt any danger, any fear of the car. No.
So who in the car scene was most competitive with
Well, once I got the BDA, I got to say,
you? No one was.
nobody. I remember when I started the first race. Practice was all in the drive, and then race day. Before the race, it would rain, and we used to use the big circuit. So I take the thing out, wet tires on it, and I'm coming down the back stretch, and this thing is hydroplaning. Every time it hits water, it'll jump. So I pulled back in the pits and I went to Neil. I said, "This car, we can't drive this thing. This car is not handling." He said, "Buddy, I paid a lot of money for this car. I don't care if you wreck it or destroy it. You're driving this thing." So we did, and we won. I never lost a race with the BDA.
Nice.
But
nice.
coming up against, I think it was the Blindenstein dealer, which was Philip
Philip
Freitas.
Freitas. Yeah.
And I remember he got away from me to start, went through the high speed turns up at the top end of the big circuit, and he's ahead of me, and I'm thinking, wow, that thing's fast. And just at the Dunlop Bridge, I see his brake light come on. So I'm thinking, well, maybe there's some kind of wreck. Why is he braking this early? So I went flying by Philip, and I'm thinking, why is he slowing down? Well, that was the difference with the BDA. The BDA was something unbelievable with braking and handling. If you weren't strapped in full harness in that car, I think you would fly out the window. I mean, this thing was unbelievable. It was not as fast as the Vauxhall. But when it came to cornering and braking, it was the best thing about it I've ever driven.
So he was just getting on the brake way too early for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but I think, you know, they've said it, and the thing they said that his wife Gabrielle was a much better driver. So
I don't think you want to say that on world
yeah.
stage?
I don't know if she is or not, but I guess she came from a racing family in England. But
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
So she was English, not Chinese.
No, she wasn't Guyanese. No.
Okay.
She was very nice, good driver. I think she passed away. I think they got divorced eventually. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Okay.
But, you know, Philip was a nice, clean driver. I mean, guys like that. He had Max Jardin. He had the Beast. Which everything about the Beast used to be like, wow, what is this Beast?
Hi. Yeah.
But basically what it was, these guys, Alan and George Jardin,
Yeah.
got hold of an old V8 engine out of a truck or a van or something. And they built this car around the engine, and it was pretty good. I was offered a car one time, but it never came to pass. I guess they scrapped it after that. That was it.
So here is one thing that really, really, really caught my attention. And even at that point, I still don't understand why. Nobody from the motor racing era, forum, you call it what, like, when I saw that you were the holder of a lap record, right? And there was no other fact but this piece of paper for me to inquire, to find out anything. It was like the guy, like, he just left Earth after he said this lap record, because there's no further information on you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to put it. It's like
that comes back to the club, because the club could have put something around the lap record. They could have put the guy's name. They could have put the time, the record when it was set.
Exactly.
But they never did anything.
My point is, in my mind, or the way I, see things, is there should have been some kind of standing plaque or something that says,
Well, it stood for a long time. I mean, the thing
but
is,
there was no, like, except, like I said, that piece of paper that I held, that I told you, Mr. Rahman, when he got into racing, was fascinated by breaking the damn number. That was his motivation, in racing. He was only obsessed with breaking that number. And I'm saying to myself, like, besides this piece of paper, where is more information on this guy?
And I can tell you what
Where is his, you know what I mean? Like, grass track.
that was, well, the same thing with grass track. I don't know if back in the day there was a jealousy that if somebody's doing well, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
In competition, if you're not winning, you don't want to hear about the other guy. That's basically it, because there's only one winner. Second is the first of the losers. So, I mean, it's just only one position, that's winning.
Yeah.
As far as the lap time, I had just first time drove the car. I didn't know the car that well. And if I hadn't migrated to the U.S. and kept driving that BDA, it would have been a much lower time to set with that car. The car was that good.
So you're saying it was on your first outing that you set that
Set
record,
the time, yeah.
and you left the country soon after.
After that, we had to go to race in, I think it was Trinidad. And it had broken a fan belt, or one of the drive belts for the fan or whatever. We didn't have a belt. And it was supposed to be FedEx from England to Trinidad. We never got it. And then we tried using like a bungee type thing, whatever,
Yeah.
but the car overheated. So we basically had it damaged the head. But after that, I kind of migrated to the States, and that was it. I never wanted to leave racing. If I had a choice in life as a career, it would have been motor racing. I had a flying head of everything. Racing was the thing to do.
So you'll understand the reason why I'm so attached to you, is because, call it fate, but I lived your dream. I pursued racing until I was 37, and then I left the country. Exactly what you would have, wanted to do at that some point in time. But that's how it worked out for me. I'm not saying by design or whatever. But
No, but that's how things worked out.
yeah,
I mean,
that's how it worked out.
The leaving Guyana was really not an option because the kids were young, and the way the country seemed to be heading,
Yeah,
I figured, well, I got to give the kids a chance
correct.
in life,
Yeah,
and you can't turn down the opportunity when it pops up. So, and that was a tough move because we packed up the two kids and whatever limited funds we had and moved to the States. So we ended up in St. Pete where my brother's ex-wife was, and I couldn't get a job flying. Nowhere, they weren't hiring bots, couldn't get a job. So eventually after about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, I turned to Shelly and said, look, you're going to have to go out and get a job. I'll watch the kids for a while, but don't be depressed, you're going to get a lot of rejection. It's the way it is. She goes out the first thing, comes home with 3 offers. She was in banking, so I mean, I'm like, excuse me, so.
yeah,
So, then my brother, he had moved up, and he made some contacts in Fort Lauderdale, and then got me lined up at a job over there. So I went over for the interview and got a job there. And so then I got into farming. And I did tell you, I did spend 6 months as a mechanic.
yes.
Now, let me tell you, that was got to be the hardest 6 months of my life, because I went to work every day, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing as a mechanic. And every time I got there, I'm thinking, dear God, don't let him give me something different. All the change I can do, but so that was rough. So I do admire you guys, because that's a skilled profession.
Thank you, thank you. So I see you're wearing the number 6 T-shirt.
This is a company called Blip Shift. If you go online
Yeah.
and pull it up, every month or every 2 weeks they come up with a design. And I've been following them, and this came up with the Datsun and the number 6. So I said, I'll get one of these. But I got a lot of their shirts, and they fit well, they're good shirts, and so you should follow it. You probably
I
find
will,
something
I
that...
will, yeah. And you know I'm a Nissan guy, so right up my alley. Oh, it's just a number 6. Must be your number and somebody else's number?
Did Ray pick up the number 6? I don't know who gave him that number. I got it. That number should not have been allowed. I mean, who gave him
So what we'll do, we'll set up another interview with you and him, and we'll figure out the number.
He should be 06, not 6. Yeah, I got to talk to Ray about that.
I thought the guy was your friend.
Yeah, he's a good friend. He's a good friend. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm on a timeline because I have to catch a flight back to New York. Be at work tomorrow morning, and I really want to thank you for your time. And like I said, your hospitality, letting me in. I think we have a great relationship in terms of
you're a
motor
great guy. I'm
racing.
glad we got together, and I do appreciate, it's nice for the guys in my generation racing to get some recognition.
So like I said, you are the first in line for some reason. Well, of course, you're in America. It was easier for me to get to you. But my plan is, though, and I already, told everyone, I'd like to sit down with Ray, sit down with Jad, sit down with Andrew King, and
Andrew King was a little bit after me, because when I went into the group 3, Andrew was in the group 1, I think.
with his mini.
It might have been a mini. He had guys like Rick's, the Curry guy.
Regan Rodriguez.
Regan Rodriguez, he was in the mini.
Yes.
And then Gadraj, but they were group 3 too with the mini.
Okay.
Or group 2, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Those minis were fast.
Yeah.
So, those are all good drivers. I mean, my cousin Joe Vera, little Joe,
Yeah.
awesome driver. I mean, the guy was very, very talented. Now, I guess his
His
son,
son, Mark
yeah,
Vera.
Mark, I don't know Mark as a driver. I knew him as a child, but
Yeah.
I know
No,
his dad.
he's a natural. Like if he jumps into a go-kart, jump on a
That
motorcycle,
was his dad.
jump into a car, he's just naturally talented.
That was his dad.
He didn't work hard to attain that
But that was his
position.
dad. His dad was the same.
Yeah, just naturally talented. You put him in anything, and he just excels from the get-go.
Speed is speed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You just change the mode of operation. Huh?
yeah. And I tell you what, I didn't get much road racing, but I remember one time there was an endurance race, and Jardim had a 450 Honda, and he was up there just to watch the race. And I don't know if it was a 12-hour or 18 or whatever it was. And they were running against the 750 Kawasaki's and the 500 Kawasaki's. And so I went to George and said, "Hey George, if I get Mark's Honda to back the bike in case it breaks or whatever, could we race it?" He said, "Sure." So we went to Mario. Mario said, "Yeah, you guys run it. I'll take care of the repairs and just, fix the bike up when it's done." And Eric Vera and I teamed up on this 450 Honda. Well, that 450 Honda started the race doing 105 miles an hour and ended doing 105 miles an hour on one day enduro, simply because it never broke down, it never quit, it just ran, and we won that 12 or 18 hour enduro.
Nice. So I've never heard of that story before. I mean, I hear a lot of stories, like I told you.
Mark's put a thing in the paper,
Yeah.
15-year-old or 10-year-old Honda wins, and it was good advertising for him.
Good.
That was a good bike. But that was Honda. Honda was, the Kawasaki's were fast, but they would burn plugs, they had to go into fuel, have to pour in oil. I mean, they had a lot of pit stops compared to the Honda. And Honda run a tank of gas and going for gas.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
But hey, once again, thank you. I do appreciate it.
I have to thank you for your time, man, and letting me in, like I said, and giving me all this information. And it doesn't end here. Like I said, I'm gonna go on and
Find the guys.
get other guys, and somehow get a couple of guys together, or however it works out.
Those guys deserve credit. I mean, that's when it started.
Yeah, so that's the purpose of my channel. Is I want to highlight the guys from that area that didn't have a chance of using this media. That's what my channel is based on, and there's going to be the need for more interviews, talk, whatever.
Which is good. You're doing a good thing.
Thank you. I just want to do what was denied to you guys in those days.
Back in the day, we just happy to race.
Okay, Mr. Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you.